steady love, strong enough, it won't cave in. I'll be with you wherever you dare to go until the end. Yeah, before you know it, things are gonna get better. Before you know it, you'll be standing on the other side. You've got no reason to be worried about forever. This very moment, before you know it, sooner than later you'll be living in the answer of every prayer that you prayed when you thought your hope was gone. For all you know, maybe a miracle has happened. This very moment, before you know it. I know you can see it right now.
Good morning. My name is Chelsea, and this is my husband, Ben. I am Doreen Rose's niece, and that's how we got put in touch with you guys. I know a lot of you guys have maybe heard of us before. I know Doreen shares some of her prayer requests and needs with you guys, and we appreciate you've been praying for us over the years. Um,
I'm gonna say I don't have much to say, but that's the opposite. I tend to talk too much. So she's gonna do most of the presentation because most of the slides, I was the one who was in those projects, so I have a lot more detail, and we might be here till tomorrow. So I'll let her. So if there's any questions, I can answer, but I'll let her do most of the talking.
we live in Nigeria, and this is just to give you guys a little bit of idea of what we do in our work there. We live in Nigeria. Ben's great grandfather, went to the country in 1921, and started working with the people in the inner area of the country. We live in Kogi State, which is about the middle, and then we live over on the east border of the state, which puts us in an area with about 5 different language groups, which we work with. We majorly work with Igala language groups. The Igala language people are where Ben grew up. He was born there, and he speaks Igala fluently. But we also have churches and people that we work with in additional 4 language groups. So we do a lot of translation work. When I say we, I mean the mission. I don't do translation work. I am not that good. So there's translation work. We've done the Bible in the Igala language. It's completed in the Igatu language now.
Yes. The first translation was to the Igala language because that's where my great grandfather felt called to minister, was that language group. Sadly, he passed before it was completed, but my grandfather continued the work and they got the complete Bible translated. As soon as that was done, the other language groups around were like, well, what about us? So they started working with leaders and elders from those different language groups to work on translating into their languages as well.
So-
And we have the complete Agatu Bible translated, waiting for printing. And we have New Testament in Eloy, and Basta is also finished. So they're hoping to get that printed sometime soon.
We usually do, like many translators, do the New Testament first because as Christians, that is the most important part to us. And then we can go back and do the historical part of the Old Testament. So that's how we do our translation there as well. Can you go to the next slide, please? In 1952, Ben's great grandfather was offered land, and he took it because, like we said, it was close to different language groups. He could minister to more than one group of people, more than one tribe. And this is the compound as of today. If you look over on the right side where there's not as, I think that's right, yes, right side for you guys, is the hospital. Ben's mother lives there with us. Right now it's just our family and Ben's mom. His dad passed away last year. But Ben's mom manages the hospital. We provide low cost or at cost treatment and care for HIV, tuberculosis, maternity care, vaccinations, minor surgical procedures, and snake bite care. We do have a lot of venomous snakes in the area. We are one of the few, if not the only hospital in the entire country that provides the anti-snake, anti-venom treatment before the patient pays, and we have it on site. Most places many hospitals in the country will give you the list of medications and then say, go find a pharmacy that has it. So you're running around trying to find a pharmacy that has the right medication, and it's very expensive. So most places do not stock it. So we are one of the few places that you can actually receive the antivenom care immediately upon arrival. Across the road on the main compound, we have the translation office. We have the Bible school, which we run at no cost to the students. They purchase their own books, and but those are printed on the print shop at site. So those are, again, low cost, no cost to the students. And we have camp buildings, which are used on the off months. Bible school is set up so that it runs every other month. Mainly the people who are attending are farmers. They need time in order to make sure their crops are going. They have farms and are able to feed their families because they are subsistence farmers. So in the morning, in the days where we have Bible, in the months we have Bible school, they're there. In the off months, we usually have camps and training sessions for those who lead the camps. And those come every other month. Go to the next slide, please. Much of what we do is building renovations. Well, that's what we've been doing lately, at least. The buildings are mostly built in the 50s and 60s, maybe the early 70s, and most of them have not been repaired since then. So a lot of what we do is repairs, and that requires a lot of steps. There is no Lowe's, there is no Home Depot, there is nothing like that. We make our own bricks. These are mud bricks in the picture. We do cement bricks, but they are much more costly. You can go to town and you can buy some pipes, and our wood is sourced straight from the forest. It gets cut and then dried on site on our compound until it's ready for use. This is one of the mission houses we're restoring. It was formerly a family house, and we're working to get it back to being another guest house for people who come to stay with us. At that point, they only had it wasn't a septic toilet. What kind of toilet was it?
No, it's just a big pit underneath the toilet that you go to the bathroom in. It's like an old style outhouse, but it was incorporated to the house. So we're trying to make it a bit more modern.
And update it so that it will not offend American sensibilities for those who come to stay. This is one of our Bible school classrooms. We call this one of our greatest blessing problems. Every time we extend either the dormitories for the students or the classrooms, they literally the next month say, thank you, we have 50 more people, which is wonderful. We're so glad they want to come and learn more about the Lord, but at the same time, we are very stressed as to how to continue to expand these buildings.
She might be exaggerating a bit. We used to say 20, then it went to 30, then it went to 50 more.
It's usually about 50.
But it is a constant problem, but a good problem to have, and that is people are seeing the Bible school is getting bigger, and that encourages more people to want to attend. And it's of all ages, from teenagers up. We have some that just started and they're in their 70s. They just want to learn more.
The Bible school was started in Ben's grandfather's living room. People, as the Bible was first translated, they wanted to learn more about it. They didn't have the study guides. They didn't have the history of growing up in a Christian family and knowing the traditions and everything. So they got together with Ben's grandfather, started learning about it. The class got too big to be just a regular Wednesday night service in your living room. So they started the Bible school, and it's been expanding ever since.
In addition to that, another reason why the Bible school started was as the books of the Bible were translated into the language, people wanted more lessons from what was translated. So that led to, basically that's what led to the Bible school, is they wanted more lessons. Okay, you have this translated, but we don't know how to read it. So it was both teaching them how to read and also learn from the Gospels, from the material that was translated.
This is a current staff house we're working on building. We do have a large number of refugees from different areas that come to us. Some of them are just looking for a place to stay for a few days until they can move on, and some of them want to settle and stay with us. Their families are already here, something like that. So this is a house we're building for a young couple that's about to get married. They both have attended Bible school. The woman works with me in the house. She is amazing, and I love her so much. And she basically takes care of everything anything I can say to her, she'll immediately hop up and do with a cheerful attitude, and she's just an amazing person. But we're building a house for her and her husband's family just came. They've been chased out of 2 villages. Their houses have been burned and their crops destroyed, and so it's likely that they will end up staying with the newly married couple when the house is finished. This continues to go up. One of the other things we do a lot of is community road projects. There is no DOT in Nigeria, which, I mean, I'm not sure, it's not great here in US either, but it's even worse in Nigeria.
Yeah, but we don't have.
I know DOT takes 15 years in US too, but, so these are roads, some of our main roads to get out to the asphalt road, the paved roads to get to town. The closest town to us is about, an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on how much rain we've had on the dirt roads.
That's only 25 miles away. It takes an hour and a half to 2 hours. This particular stretch of road takes about 45 minutes to an hour to do 9 miles. So it's fun.
And that's in dry season. Let's talk about the rainy season where it's just mud and clay. It's
Some
great.
days we look at the road, we're like, not today.
Did it rain last night? We are not going out today. That's the way it works. So Ben does a lot of work with his tractor and ends up fixing roads. And so not only is that beneficial to us, but it's beneficial to the community as well, as they're able to get out and go and do what they need to do. This is a side road. It goes to a farm or multiple farms. This again is road projects we do. It doesn't benefit us in any way. But it will help the farmers who would only be able to get their produce out by motorcycle, be able to take a truck in and bring out more produce at a time and not waste as much time going back and forth. So they can take it home, and they can also take it to market and sell and provide income for their families. One of the things I love about our church and our Bible school students is they are very proactive. When they see something that needs to get done, they will let us know and they will get us to help with it. There's 2 roads that come into our village. There's a main road that goes out to Kogi, and there's another road that goes out to Benue State, which is a little bit to our northeast. And we are having Bible conferences, and the students came to us and said, that road is impassable. They're going to be bringing 15-passenger vans. They're going to be bringing small cars. They can't get in. Can we come back on a Saturday and fix the road? So they did. Bible school students and some of the people from our local assemblies came in, and we picked rocks out of farmers' field, which they were quite happy about, and then put it on the road to help stabilize the road so that it wouldn't wash out continually with every single rain. We do have rainy season and dry season. In dry season, the roads are great. The 6 months or so we have rainy season, it's hit or miss whether or not we can travel anywhere. Ben and I are not evangelists. We do not go out and speak on the street corner. We do not go out and preach using megaphones or anything like that. We leave that to our Bible school students who enjoy that kind of work. What we do is a lot of one-on-one relationships with people. A lot of times preaching at somebody will not change their hearts, but showing them you love them will. And so we do that in fellowshipping with others, creating those relationships so that we can later have those conversations about why are we doing this for them for free? Why are we offering this? Why are we loving them? And this is one of the ways we got to share with our Bible school students. This is probably half the Bible school,
Not up to half.
not up to half.
No.
We made, the girls who helped me in the house and I made cakes. And we had cakes and we had tea. And we got together, we sang worship songs, we did some prayers, and we shared out cake and tea, and that was a wonderful experience for everyone. We've done that a few times. They really enjoy it. Whenever you give out anything, there's always someone there to collect it. We have kids collecting from one side, and we've got even the older teenagers collecting from the door. If there is free, they will show up.
Yeah, usually during Christmas and New Year's, the kids go around wishing people happy Christmas, happy New Year's, and they expect something. And just it's one thing they do out there. So we started tying little candies and biscuits in bags and handing them out. And that's what happens when, oh, they're doing it. Everybody swarms the doors and
We at one point shared out some clothes. It was 2 or 3 years ago, we shared out some clothes. We literally had people walking 2 miles to come pick it up. We didn't tell anybody we were doing it. We gave some to some kids. They told their friends. The next day, their friends came. The next day, their friends came. The next day, it passed down to the village down there. So they are grateful for anything they receive, and we are very blessed to be able to help out where we can. This is our church, one Sunday. The church doctrine is kind of based upon
it's new.
loosely based upon Plymouth Brethren, where that there is no pastor. The men speak as they feel led, as they're given a message, and we do wear head coverings. We do sit men and women separately, but it's more of a New Testament Bible based instead of a denomination based. Most of the denominations you'll find in Nigeria are prosperity gospel, and we work hard to fight against that. We do believe God will give you what you need, but we don't believe that paying the pastor extra is going to give you anything.
Yeah, recently, 2 weeks ago, yeah, 2 Sundays ago, a group of our Bible school students went to a village not too far away from us to evangelize. And when they got there and they started speaking, both the Christians and the Muslims were like, this is a different kind of message you're giving. This is not what we're used to. We're always used to either chasing out witches and demons or people just asking for money. They were very happy with the message they were getting, and they're like, this is straight from the Bible. This is what we need. And they've invited them whenever they want to. They can come back and they'll host them. So it's very good.
Our church is kind of an auditorium. You can see I tried to put the pictures together. They kind of don't fit, but it's a very large church. We used to go into a smaller church, and then we've outgrown that, and it's now a Bible school classroom that's been redone and resized twice. So we're now up in the auditorium, up in the compound there. Our children are even getting into it. They love to come and tell me, Mommy, I need to cook food for my friends. And a lot of times the kids don't get a lot of nutrition, a lot of food during the day. Most of them do not do breakfast. They will maybe do lunch. They will most likely have supper. So to have 2 and 3-year-olds come up to you and tell you that they're hungry, it's heartbreaking, and you do what you can to feed them. We always have snacks. We always have, they call it Indomie, but it's ramen noodles, eggs, little things the kids can snack on during the day just to fill their bellies up and keep them going a little bit longer. Ben's big on individual relationships. He likes talking to people one-on-one. And we have lots of people that just come up and sit, and we just have chats. And that's the best way we've found to build relationships with people, to share our hearts, to share what we're doing. Preaching to a large crowd, you might get 1 or 2 people, but when you build those relationships, not only do you build them with that person, you build them with that family. So we've had people come up asking us for food. They don't know how they're going to feed their family that day. We've been asked for small loans to start businesses, to do farming, and we do what we can to help the local community, not handing out free money willy-nilly. We're not just, we're not a free bank. We don't have that kind of money, but we do what we can to help alleviate some of the immediate needs that we can see are valid and necessary in the community. This is one of our conferences.
Camp counselor conference.
We get up to 2,000 people that come to these conferences. Especially the women's conference, we usually get about 2,000 women plus their children, plus their 9, 10-year-olds to care for their babies. So that doesn't even count the children. So Jesus feeds the 5,000, and that is just the men. Yeah, that's what we get to. We count the 2,000. We don't count the rest of the kids, but that actually adds a lot to it. So usually we have 300, 400, 500, but we can get up to 2,000 people. Women's camp is always my favorite because not only are there so many women there, but they kick all the men out of the houses. All the men go sleep in the translation office or in the print shop, and the women just take over their house completely. And you just see all these men standing outside the office going, I can't go home. There's too many people. But this is one of our groups, and we're so happy to have them when they come up. Building more relationships with people. These are some missionaries we're hoping will be able to come out this year and join us in the work. Kyle is really good with engines and repairs, just like Ben, so it'll take a little bit of the pressure off of him as far as repairing the generators and everything on the day-to-day. We do have 4 children. There are papers in the back that also explain a little bit about what we do, and their pictures are on there. We have a birth daughter, Loretta Ann. She goes by Chubi, which is her Igala name. We have Israel as our oldest at 8. Loretta Ann is going to be 5 in about a month. Timothy is 4, and Samuel is 2. We are working currently on adopting Timothy and Israel, and we're praying that will go through soon. The biggest thing we've been involved in has been, the last 2 years, has been a feeding program for motherless babies. In Nigeria, 1 in 22 women will die in childbirth. In U.S., it's about 1 in 4,900. So it's a very high maternal mortality rate, and that usually leads to a high infant mortality rate. This is Ebenezer. His mom was older and was advised she needed to deliver at a hospital, and she decided she was delivering at home and then passing away. Because of the bad road condition, we usually get our materials by bike. This is Sanusi. He's our main delivery guy, and they just pack everything on a bike, and we bring it in and keep it in a storeroom for when we get the babies in. Formula for about a month is about $60, $65. They make about $30 a month. So it is completely impossible for them to feed a newborn or an infant the appropriate amount of formula and still continue to feed the rest of the family. So we have started providing them with formula and different supplies. We've had lots of donations from several different churches we're so grateful for because we're able to then share them with the women. I used to crochet blankets for the babies, even the babies born at the hospital. After second or third child, I ran out of time, and then we started getting so many babies, I cannot keep up. So we're so blessed to have donations be sent out to us that we can share out with these ladies. Most of the families that come to us come with either the grandmother or the aunt caring for the child. The father will want the child to live, but he has to farm, he has to work, and men are not really in the child rearing business. It's more the women's responsibility. So when they come, we try to give them a diaper bag because you need to carry more stuff when you're formula feeding versus when you're breastfeeding. A blanket, reusable diapers, a few outfits, a bottle cleaner, and some formula. We try to send that with all of them so they get a little bit of a start. This was our most severe case we've had yet. This is Ekima. Her mother died when she was born, and that was 3 months before she was brought to us. And in that time, she'd been just drinking water and a very thin corn porridge that they give them called pap. So she's had next to no nutrients in her body. She was about 7 pounds when she came to us at 3 months old. We gave her grandmother formula and immediately sent them across the road to the mission hospital, and she was there for about a week. And after about a week, you can see the top picture there in the green, she's definitely plumping back up. And the picture in the white in the bottom there, that's after a month after she had been discharged from the hospital. They came back to get more formula. In Nigeria, a lot of times if the babies get sick, they'll just leave them out to die. And so they don't have the finances to take care of a small child. Feeding wise, they don't have the finances to take care of the medical cost. So one of the other things we have done besides offering formula is say for the first 2 years of life, if you come to the mission hospital and we can guarantee it's good care, we will cover the medical cost for you. And that is one of the reasons this set of triplets is still alive. This one, the mother delivered one child. Great. She delivered a second child, and the father went, "Oh no," and ran away. They have not been able to find him since. The babies are about 6 months old or 7 months now, and he doesn't even know he has a third child because he ran away after the second. Mother was trying to breastfeed but was unable to fill 3 bellies at one time, so we've offered formula to help supplement and to encourage growth. At one point, they came to us, they were all sick, they were all having tummy problems, they're getting dehydrated, and they were in the hospital for a week. With all 3 of them together, their combined bill was $45. But if not for the fact we had agreed to cover them, those children would have died because they don't have it. That's one of the reasons we offer that
I think
option.
the mother and grandmother that came with them told us straight up that if it wasn't that we offered for the medical, they would not have been able to do anything for those children. And what they were treated for would have led to them dying.
So it's one of the main reasons we offer that is malaria, gastrointestinal tummy troubles. That's all something that all babies get, especially in a place with unclean water. And it's also something that will lead to their death because the families can't afford to do anything about it. So for the first 2 years, we offer that option, and that definitely helps increase the chance of them making it to their second, third birthday. These are 3 more of our little babies. Ojo Shegbe is up in the top with her grandmother. Jennifer is in the middle, and that is Omojo on the side. Omojo means gift of God. No, Omojo means child of God, sorry. And if you'll go ahead and click, it'll show them when they're a little bit older now. When people first started bringing us children, it was, we can't keep them at all. And so we found some families in our churches that have been willing to help and keep them and raise them as their own. Families that either all their kids are already grown, or they just weren't able to have kids for some reason, or they wanted to have another little girl. Jennifer in the middle there, her mom has a girl. She's about 20 now, 21. And that's the only girl, and she has 3 boys, and she was desperate for another girl. So she was so thrilled to have Jennifer and have another little girl to put all the cutesy dresses on. Eleojo, which is gift of God, is in the corner with her mom. Ebenezer is in the middle there, and Salim is on the side. Most of the families we do work with are Muslim families. And again, this gives us a good way to reach out to them and to share to them that Jesus loves you, and it's free. Why is it free? Because we love you, because there are other people that love you, because there are other people who love you because Jesus loved them. And we're able to share that with them. Because like we said previously, they don't get things for free. So the fact this is free and we're able to pray with the babies, we're able to help them. It just is a wonderful way of reaching out. Just a few more daily life pics. Every year in the dry season, they do burning of the fields. And usually it comes back, we have a hill at the back of the compound, it comes back over and comes down our hill. And Ben spends hours out there fighting the fire to not come and burn our buildings. This is part of the farming style they use out there. They use a lot of chemicals, a lot of slash and burn. And one of the things we've been working with is another missionary group that does teaching as to God's way. Was it God's way of farming?
Yeah.
Farming God's way.
God's way.
That teaches them how to use natural fertilizer, natural mulch, things like that to stop destroying the ground completely so that in a few decades there will be no nutrients left in the soil. Shopping trips usually look like that picture up on the left. The car is packed to the brim because it is 2 hours out and we don't get stuff. So we go out and we buy our bulk 50 kg bags of sugar and flour and rice. Okra is a big staple in Nigeria. They make a soup out of it, which makes very stringy, they call it draw, and they love it. Not my favorite, but Thankfully, there's other soups that are not draw soups because that is not my favorite whatsoever. Gari is another big thing that they eat. It is a type of cassava which is similar to taro. You have to ferment it before you cook it because it does have arsenic and arsenic, cyanide, arsenic. So usually you pick it from the ground, you peel it, you cut it into chunks, you put it in water for 2 to 3 days, let it ferment in the water. Then you can take it out and grind it and powder it and do it, they make it several different ways. This way is gari. You grind it into small flakes and then you fry it on an open pan. Makes a type of cereal almost. But it shrinks down, so when you add water to it, it swells. So it's a cheap food that when you put it in water, it swells, or you eat it dry, it swells in your belly, and it fills your belly, even though there's no nutrients in it. It makes you feel full. And we're constantly using the tractor to go for firewood and different things. This is another reason it takes 2 hours to get to town. It flooded one day while we were out, and this is one of our main roads to get back to the compound. And this one was originally paved, it's now partially paved because pieces have broken off. It was not done very well. But the water reached up halfway up the tires. And then we lost our bumper to a branch that came down.
Yeah, this road has more potholes than it does actual tarmac now. And they vary in depth from a couple inches to a couple feet, so you gotta be careful. We weren't able to catch one of the deep ones, and that's why the bumper was ripped off the back of the car.
I missed. Transporting things in Nigeria is fun. That is a goat on top of the car. I wish I've been able to get a picture. I've seen cows on top of cars. I can't quite get the picture, but yeah, there's cows. You transport cows on top of cars too, and you just tie them down really good. They don't move. And one of the big meat sources in Nigeria is bushmeat. A cow is expensive. Chickens are expensive. Even dried fish can get expensive after a while. So if you can go set a snare trap and you can get bushmeat, you can get good meat for supper. This is a monitor lizard that one of our friends caught and brought to us. And if you don't eat the meat, then they'll sell it to somebody else and they'll get the money and use it for buying staples like rice or anything else. So this was one of our friends brought that to us to purchase. So we just wanted to thank you guys for giving us an opportunity to speak to you. Like I said, there are some papers in the back that share a little bit more about the compound and things we've been doing there. There's also an example of the Igala Bible and the Igala hymnal back there that we've produced at the Mission Compound. We're so grateful for the opportunity to speak to you guys, and if you have any questions later, we'd be happy to answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you.